Hello dear students, today we are going to see the second part of the second chapter, The Sound of Music. The second part is the Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. So today we are going to learn about Bismillah Khan. We are going to see the origin of the Shehnai and the journey of Bismillah Khan. Now, there are so many pictures given in your book. So these are all musicians. They are playing different kinds of musical instruments. This is Ustad Bismillah Khan. He is a legend because he has done something significant. He has played the musical instrument, that is Shehnai, on 15th August 1947 in the Red Fort. So by playing the Shehnai, he has welcomed the audience before Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So he is a legend. So in this lesson, let's see about the journey of Ustad Bismillah Khan or Khan Sahab. He is given the title Ustad. Think of the Shehnai and the first thing you will probably imagine is a wedding or a similar occasion or function. So whenever you think of Shehnai, the first thing that comes to your mind is a wedding or any occasion or function, because probably Shehnai is played during weddings and occasions. The next would probably be Ustad Bismillah Khan, the Shehnai maestro playing the instrument. And the second thing that comes to you is Ustad Bismillah Khan, the Shehnai maestro. Maestro means great musical composer. So he was a great musical composer, that is a Shehnai player, Ustad Bismillah Khan. Emperor Aurangzeb banned playing of musical instrument called pungi in the royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. Now, you know that India was ruled by Mughals. Before the Britishers, Mughals ruled over India, and a famous Mughal emperor Aurangzeb, he banned the playing of musical instrument which is called pungi. Now he has banned this pungi. Why? Because it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. Now what is shrill? Shrill means very sharp. So this pungi, it had a sharp, unpleasant sound, and so Aurangzeb banned playing of pungi in his royal residence. Pungi became the generic name for reeded noisemakers. Now this pungi, it became the generic name. Now generic means a name given to a class or group. So a name which is given to a class or group, like there is a generic name for a medicine, that is paracetamol. So paracetamol is a generic name. So we get different brands of paracetamol, that is Crocin, Calpol, etc. So that is a generic name. So here the musical instruments which were reeded noisemakers. Now what do you mean by reeded noisemakers? Reeded means wind instrument which have been like the flute, the clarinet, etc. So the musical instruments which had reeds. So a reed is the thin strip of material. So the musical instruments which had thin strip of material which produced sound by the blowing of wind. So these instruments were called pungi. These instruments, they got the generic name, that is pungi. So to all the instruments of this class which produced sound with the help of wind, blowing the wind, and which had reeds, those musical instruments were given a name, a generic name, that is pungi. So these instruments all together as a group is called as pungi. Few had thought that it would one day be revived. So few thought that one day this instrument pungi would be revived. Revived means come back to life. So as this instrument was banned by Aurangzeb, so nobody thought that this instrument will be played again, it would be back again, that is, it would be revived. A barber of a family of professional musicians who had access to the royal palace decided to improve the tonal quality of pungi. So a barber of a family of professional musicians. So there was a barber and he belonged to the family of professional musicians. He had the access to the royal court. Means he could reach or he could go to the royal court, royal palace, and he thought to improve the quality, the tonal quality. Tonal quality means the quality of the tone which was produced. So this barber, he thought to improve the quality of pungi, because he knew that pungi was banned by Aurangzeb due to its unpleasant sound, and so he wanted to improve the quality of the sound. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem that was longer and broader than pungi and made 7 holes on the body of pipe. So what this barber did, he chose one pipe, a natural hollow pipe. Hollow means which is empty from inside. So he took one natural hollow pipe which was longer as well as broader than pungi, and then he made 7 holes in that pipe. When he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sounds were produced. So when this barber, he made the 7 holes in the pungi, 7 holes on that pipe, and then he started to play by opening and closing some of these holes, and the results were amazing. It made very melodious, very sweet sound. He plays the instrument before royalty and everyone was impressed. So what he did, he played this instrument before the royalty. Royalty means royal people. Okay. And everyone was impressed by the melodious sound of this instrument. The instrument, so different from the pungi, had to be given a new name. So this instrument, it was different from pungi because see, you can see that it was longer than the pungi. Also the pipe was broader than the pipe of pungi. So the royalty thought that it should be given some different name, and see also the sound was very melodious, and the sound of this pungi was very harsh, very shrill, unpleasant, and the sound produced by this instrument was very pleasant, very melodious, and so they thought of giving the different name to this musical instrument. As the story goes, since it was first played in the Shah's chambers and was played by a nai, the instrument was named the Shehnai. So as this instrument, it was played in Shah's chambers. Chambers means rooms. Shah means the king and all, they were called as Shahs. So as it was played in Shah's chambers, Shah's room, and as it was played by the Nai, that is a barber, so this name was given Shehnai. So Shah, which belongs to Shah, and Nai means barber. So in this way, this musical instrument got its name, Shehnai. The sound of Shehnai began to be considered auspicious, and for this reason it is still played in temples and is an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. So now here you have already learned how this instrument got its name, Shehnai. This Shehnai, the sound of this Shehnai was considered to be auspicious. Auspicious means which brings good fortune. And so, because of this, as it was considered auspicious, it is still played in temples and it is an indispensable component of North Indian weddings. Now, indispensable means without which a piece of work cannot be done. So, North Indian weddings cannot be done without the sound of Shehnai, without playing Shehnai. In the past, the Shehnai was part of the Naubat or traditional ensemble of 9 instruments found at royal court. So in the past, the Shehnai, it was a part of Naubat. Naubat, it is a group or a class of 9 instruments which were played in the royal court. So this Shehnai was also a part of that Naubat. Till recently, it was used only in temples and weddings. So till recently, the Shehnai was only played in temples and weddings. The credit for bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. And the credit of bringing this instrument, Shehnai, on the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. Ustad Bismillah Khan was the one who gave the Shehnai the classical stage. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played Gilli Danda near a pond in the ancient estate of Dumrao in Bihar. So when Bismillah was 5 years old, at that time he used to play Gilli Danda. Gilli Danda is one kind of old sport wherein there is a danda, a stick, and a gilli. It is made of wood, and one has to strike that gilli with that danda. Okay. So he used to play this near a pond in the ancient estate. Ancient means old. Estate means territory. So in the old territory of Dumrao. As you know that Dumrao is his birthplace. So there was a pond near the ancient territory in Dumrao. So Bismillah Khan used to play Gilli Danda near that pond, which is in Bihar. He would regularly go to the nearby Bihariji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita, at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.2 kg, a prize given by the local Maharaja. Now, as you know that he belonged to the family of musicians, and since his early age he started learning music. So when he was 5 years old, he used to go to the nearby Bihariji temple. So there was a Bihariji temple nearby, and he used to go there in the temple and he used to sing Bhojpuri Chaita. Bhojpuri is a language. So he used to sing that Bhojpuri Chaita in the temple, and as a reward he used to get a big laddu. The weight of that laddu used to be 1.25 kg, and this reward used to be given by the local Maharaja. This happened 80 years ago, and the little boy has travelled far to earn the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. So this thing happened 80 years ago. That was when he was 5 years old. At that time he used to get laddu as a reward for his singing, and from that time onwards Bismillah Khan has travelled far to earn the highest civilian award. He has worked hard with full determination, with great determination, and he had reached his success, wherein he was awarded the highest civilian award, that is the Bharat Ratna award. Born on 21st March 1816, Bismillah belongs to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. His grandfather Rasul Baks Khan was the Shehnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur King's court. Now, Bismillah Khan was born on 21st March 1916, and he belongs to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. So he was born on 21st March 1916 in Bihar, in a very well-known musician family. His grandfather Rasul Baqs Khan was the Shehnai Nawaz. So his grandfather was also a Shehnai player. He was the Shehnai player of Bhojpuri king's court. His father Paigambar Baqs and other paternal ancestors were also great Shehnai players. So his father Paigambar Baqs and paternal ancestors. Paternal means ancestors of fathers. Ancestors, that is forefathers. So his grandfather, great grandfather, great great grandfather. So all these ancestors, they belonged. They all were great Shehnai players. The young boy took to music early in life. So the young boy, that is Bismillah Khan, he started learning music early in life. At the age of 3, when his mother took him to the maternal uncle's house in Banaras, now Varanasi, Bismillah was fascinated watching his uncles practice the Shehnai. So when Bismillah Khan was 3 years old, at that time his mother took him to maternal uncle's house, which was in Banaras. So now it is called as Varanasi. So Bismillah was fascinated, that is attracted, watching his uncles practice Shehnai. So he was attracted to see his uncles practice Shehnai. Soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Baqs to Vishnu temple of Banaras, where Baqs was employed to play the Shehnai. Now soon what happened? Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Baqs. So his uncle Ali Baqs, he was employed to play Shehnai in Vishnu temple. So he was the employee of Vishnu temple. He was employed in Vishnu temple to play Shehnai. So whenever Ali Baqs used to go to Vishnu temple, Bismillah Khan used to accompany him. Ali Baqs would play the Shehnai and Bismillah would sit captivated for hours on end. So whenever Ali Baqs used to play the Shehnai, Bismillah Khan would sit captivated. Captivated means attracted. So for hours on end means for a long time without stopping. So he used to sit for a long time listening to his uncle Ali Baqs. Slowly he started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. So slowly Bismillah Khan started getting lessons in playing the Shehnai, and he would sit practicing throughout the day. So throughout the whole day he used to practice this instrument. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangala Maiya and the banks of the Ganga became the young apprentice's favorite haunts where he could practice in solitude. So for many years, the temple of Balaji and Mangala Maiya and the banks of river Ganga, they became the favorite haunts. Haunts means the places which are often visited. So these places were often visited by Bismillah Khan to practice Shehnai. And apprentice means the person who is under training. Bismillah Khan was taking the training of playing the instrument, and To practice this instrument, he used to go to Balaji temple, Mangalamaya temple and banks of river Ganga, where he could practice in solitude. Solitude means loneliness. So Bismillah Khan used to practice in loneliness. He used to practice alone. The flowing waters of Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai. So the flowing waters of Ganga, they inspired him. Him means who? Bismillah Khan. So the flowing water of Ganga inspired Bismillah Khan to improvise and invent ragas. Improvise means to create and invent ragas. So he was inspired by the flowing water of river Ganga to create and invent ragas. Ragas means tunes that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of Shehnai. So he has invented or created such tunes that were earlier considered beyond the range of Shehnai. It means these ragas, they were earlier thought that these ragas could not be produced with the help of Shehnai. They were beyond the reach of Shehnai, but this was made possible by Bismillah Khan due to his hard work and continuous practice. At the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad Music Conference. So when Bismillah Khan was 14 years old, at that time he accompanied his uncle to Allahabad Music Conference. There was a music conference in Allahabad. So Bismillah Khan accompanied his uncle over there. At the end of his recital, Ustad Fayaz Khan patted the young boy's back and said, "Work hard and you shall make it." So when his performance was over, when he recited over there, when his recital was done, at that time Ustad Fayaz Khan he patted the young boy's back, Ustad Bismillah Khan's back, and he said that work hard and you shall make it. You shall achieve great success in music, in playing musical instrument. With the opening of the All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938 came Bismillah's big break. So Bismillah Khan got his big break in 1938 when the All India Radio was opened in Lucknow. So in 1938, an All India Radio, that is a radio station, it was opened in Lucknow, and at that time Ustad Bismillah Khan got his big break. He soon became an often heard Shehnai player on radio. So hence he soon became very popular and he was often heard on the radio. He became the often heard Shehnai player on radio. When India gained independence on 15th August 1947, Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai. So now Bismillah Khan, he became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai. So when India got freedom, at that time Bismillah Khan welcomed the nation with his Shehnai. He poured his heart out into Rag Kafi from the Red Fort to an audience which included Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who later gave his famous Tryst with Destiny speech. Ustad Bismillah Khan, he was the first person to welcome the nation on the eve of independence. So this was a historical moment, and so he is called the legend. Ustad Bismillah Khan is called the legend. And after him, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of independent India, he gave his famous speech, that is Tryst with Destiny. Tryst with Destiny means meeting with faith. Bismillah Khan has given many memorable performances both in India and abroad. So Bismillah Khan, he has given many memorable performances. His performances are memorable, they cannot be forgotten. So such performances were given by him both in India as well as abroad in foreign countries. His first trip abroad was Afghanistan, where King Zahir Shah was so taken in by the maestro that he gifted him priceless Persian carpets and other souvenirs. So his first trip abroad was to Afghanistan, and the king of Afghanistan, that is King Zahir Shah, he was so taken in by means he was charmed by or fascinated by the maestro, that is the Bismillah Khan, that he gifted him priceless Persian carpets. So he was so impressed by him that the king gifted him valuable Persian carpets and other souvenirs. Souvenirs means other gifts which are given as a memory of place, person or event. The king of Afghanistan was not the only one to be fascinated with Bismillah's music. So king of Afghanistan, that is King Zahir Shah, was not only the one person who was fascinated by Ustad Bismillah Khan. Film director Vijay Bhatt was so impressed after hearing Bismillah play at a festival that he named a film after the instrument called Goonj Uthi Shehnai. So Vijay Bhatt, the film director, so he was also very much impressed after hearing Bismillah play at the festival. So he heard Bismillah Khan play at the festival and he was so impressed that he named a film after the instrument, and the name of that film was Goonj Uthi Shehnai. So he named that film after the instrument called Goonj Uthi Shehnai. The film was a hit, and one of Bismillah Khan's compositions, Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya, turned out to be a nationwide chart buster. So the film Goonj Uthi Shehnai, it was a hit, and in that film Bismillah Khan gave his composition, that is Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya. So this composition, it turned out to be nationwide chart buster. Chart buster means a record breaker. So this performance was a record breaker performance. Despite this huge success in the celluloid world, Bismillah Khan ventures in the film music were limited to two. So in spite of huge success in the celluloid world. Celluloid means filmy world. So see, when he performed, it became a chart buster and he got huge success. But in spite of this huge success, Bismillah Khan's ventures in film music were limited to two. His projects in film music were only two. He has only worked in two projects in the film music. And the Vijay Bhatt's Hu Juti Shehnai and Vikram Srinivas Kannada venture Samadhi Apanna. So which were the two projects which we did in the film music? The first was Vijay Bhatt's Hu Juti Shehnai and the second was Vikram Srinivasan's Samadhi Apanna. It was a Kannada project. I just can't come to terms with the artificiality and glamour of the film world, he says with emphasis. So Ustad Bismillah Khan gives emphasis and he says that he cannot come to the terms with artificiality and glamour of film world. He does not like the artificiality and the glamour, the shine of the film world. Everything there is artificial, and so he doesn't like that, and so he has not accepted any projects, any further projects in film music. Awards and recognition came thick and fast. Now soon Bismillah Khan, he got the recognition all over the world and he achieved many awards. The awards and recognition, they came thick and fast, means quick and many. Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to be invited to perform at the prestigious Lincoln Center Hall in the United States of America. So Bismillah Khan was the first Indian person who was invited at the prestigious Lincoln Center Hall in USA to perform. So before this, not a single Indian was invited there to perform. He was the first Indian who was invited to perform at this Lincoln Center Hall in USA. He also took part in the World Exposition in Montreal, in the Cannes Art Festival and in the Osaka Trade. So Ustad Bismillah Khan, he also took part in World Exposition in Montreal. Exposition means conference, music conference. So he took part in World Music Conference in Montreal, then in Cannes Art Festival and Osaka Trade Fair. So he took part in all these things. So well known did he become internationally that an auditorium in Tehran was named after him, Tahar Mausiki Ustad Bismillah Khan. So Ustad Bismillah Khan became so famous internationally that the auditorium, a big hall which is in Tehran, it was named after him. So the auditorium was given the name Tahar Mausiki Ustad Bismillah Khan. National awards like Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan were conferred on him. So the national awards like Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan were conferred on Ustad Bismillah Khan. Conferred means given. So these awards were given to Ustad Bismillah Khan. In 2001, Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna. So Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded India's highest civilian award, that is the Bharat Ratna award in 2001. With the coveted award resting on his chest and his eyes gleaming with rare happiness, he said, "All I would like to say is teach your children music. This is Hindustan's richest tradition. Even the West is now coming to learn our music." So Bismillah Khan, with his coveted award, coveted means much desired. So with this much desired award resting on his chest and his eyes glinting with rare happiness, glinting means shining, so its eyes shining with rare happiness, he said that children of India should learn music. He said that teach your children music, because this is India's tradition. It is the richest tradition of Hindustan, and even the people from the West, they are also coming to India to learn Indian music, Indian traditional music. So he told that you should also teach your children music. In spite of having travelled all over the world, Khan Sahab, as he is fondly called, is exceedingly fond of Banaras and Dumrao, and they remain for him the most wonderful towns of the world. So Ustad Bismillah Khan, he has travelled all over the world. In spite of that, now Khan Sahab, he is fondly called as Khan Sahab. He is lovingly called as Khan Sahab. Ustad Bismillah Khan is lovingly called as Khan Sahab, and he has travelled all over the world. But he is very fond of Banaras and Dumrao. So these two places, they remain for him the most wonderful towns of the world. So to Bismillah Khan, these two places, Banaras and Dumrao, they were the most wonderful towns of the world. A student of his once wanted him to head a Shehnai school in the USA, and the student promised to recreate the atmosphere of Banaras by replicating the temples there. Now, a student of Ustad Bismillah Khan, he wanted Ustad Bismillah Khan to head a Shehnai school, which was in USA, and he also promised to Ustad Bismillah Khan that he would recreate the atmosphere of Banaras. Recreate means to create again. So he would recreate the atmosphere of Banaras by replicating the temples there. Replicating means duplicating, by building the same temples over there. He would create the atmosphere of Banaras, because he knew that Ustad Bismillah Khan was very fond of Banaras, and so he said that if he would be the head of the music school in USA, he would create the atmosphere of Banaras over there. But Khan Sahab asked him if he would be able to transport river Ganga as well. But Khan Sahab, that is Ustad Bismillah Khan, he asked him whether he could transport river Ganga to USA. Later he is remembered to have said, "That is why whenever I am in foreign country, I keep yearning to see Hindustan, So once Bismillah Khan said that whenever he is in foreign country, he kept yearning to see Hindustan, yearning, desiring greatly. So whenever he used to be in foreign countries, he used to desire to see Hindustan, that is India. While in Mumbai, I think of only Banaras and the holy Ganga. So whenever he used to be in Mumbai, he used to think of Banaras and river Ganga. And Banaras, I miss the unique mud of Dumrav. Whenever he used to be in Banaras, he used to miss the unique mud of Dumrav. So he was fond of these places very much. Ustad Bismillah Khan's life is a perfect example of rich cultural heritage of India, one that effortlessly accepts that a devout Muslim like him can very naturally play the Shehnai every morning at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. Now the life of Ustad Bismillah Khan is a perfect example of rich cultural heritage of India. Because even though he was a Muslim, devout means devoted, one who used to follow all the laws and used to practice the religion. So even though he was a devoted Muslim, he used to play Shehnai every morning at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. So though he was a Muslim, he used to naturally play Shehnai every morning in Kashi Vishwanath temple. So this tells us that he was a perfect example of cultural heritage of India. Ustad Bismillah Khan passed away on 21st August 2006 at the age of 90 after a prolonged illness. So this legend of India passed away on 21st August 2006. At that time he was 90 years old and he was suffering from an illness for a long time. Prolonged means long. He was given a state funeral and the government of India declared one day of national mourning. So this legend of India was given a state funeral and the government of India declared one day national mourning. Mourning means to mourn. So if someone dies, we mourn for a minute or two. So this mourn was declared by the government of India. One day mourn was declared by the government of India after the death of Ustad Bismillah Khan. I hope you have understood the lesson, the Shehnai of